Hey there, fellow makeup aficionado. My name is Alikona Bradford. I've been in the LA industry for the past 6 years. I've done everything from celebrity makeup, fashion shows, photo shoots, weddings, a whole lot of stuff. So what I want to do today is share with you some of my best tips and tricks so that way you know what's going on in trend in the industry right now. So today what we're going to be working on is a Marilyn Monroe look, or you can also see Gwen Stephanie. She rocks that same red lip, black liquid liner. That's where we're going. So I've already prepped Marisol's skin. We did some foundation primer, which what it does is just mattifies everything. It keeps it on a little bit longer. And then we started with a little bit of concealer. We did a red undertone because it's going to cancel out anything that is a dark circle. It's going to neutralize the eyelids, so that way when you put eyeshadows on top, it's not going to change the color. So we did that. I'm going to go ahead and set it with some powder. Close your eyes. We're going one eye at a time today. Look up. Do the other one a little bit quicker, but I want to definitely give you guys a step-by-step for this one. So after we do our concealer and we do our powder, we're going to go ahead and do some eyeshadow base. I'm doing a cream base, and what a base does is it keeps the shadow on a little bit longer. The color is going to show up a lot more vibrantly, so that way you don't have to go back and forth and put a lot of eyeshadow on. It just shows up. So we do it all the way from brow to lash line, and then I'm going to start with a off-white, like a bone color eyeshadow. This one is called Blanc Type, but you can do anything that's an off-white. We're going to press the shadow into her brow bone. By pressing the shadow, what you're doing is you're allowing the color to build. The sweeping motion actually blends the color out, and we don't want to do that. We're building color right now. This is a pretty simple, quick look. All your time is basically going to go into the liner more than anything else. All right. Now I am taking a peach color, and don't worry, I'll have a list of all the colors I used at the very end of the video. And what we're doing is we're carving out her crease. Both Marilyn and Gwen don't have a heavy crease. They don't use anything like black or gray. They keep it very neutral because it's all about contouring the eye. Again, we're just giving it depth. Anything dark pushes back, whereas light pulls forward. So you can play tricks, so it doesn't matter what the eye shape is. I know a lot of people are like, I'm Asian and I can still rock this eye. It's just a matter of really knowing your own structure and how to create lines. So go ahead and open your eyes and look straight in front. A lot of times I'll do makeup with my client's eyes open, and you can do that too. That way you can see exactly how high to go with the color. So that way you don't open your eye and the color is way up here or just totally disappears inside of your crease. And do it on the lid, please, right? Perfect. And again, you'll notice that I'm pressing the color into the shadow base. So this is great for just a day look. If you want to make something really natural, just add some brown liner and call it a day. But since we're a little more dramatic, we're going to do that one. All right, let's go ahead and open your eyes. So pretty simple. Like I said, just carved out a bit, and then we'll go into the eyeliner. But I will give you a little trick. For those of you who have issues getting that perfect line, I'm going to put some tape on her eye. Sounds crazy, but it gives you such a clean line. And then later on, when you do the other side, if you have something to match it to, you want to make sure that your angles are going to be the same on both sides. Play with that, move down just a little bit. How's that feel, Marisol? You're good? Good to go? Awesome. All right. Now I'm going to take a cream liner. You can do liquid or you can do cream. Cream's a little bit easier if you have a shaky hand. It'll give you more precision. Sometimes when you use a regular liquid liner, you get little squiggly lines. All right. And then the brush that I'm going to use, there's several different brushes you can use. I'm going to use this one. It's a round, pointy brush. It's a little bit easier for me than angle brushes. I feel like angle brushes can tug at the eye and just stay looking forward. So I start with the outside corner first. All you have to do is draw just a line out, and then we'll pull it in. So now that I have that done, go ahead and close your eyes. I always start from the outside and work my way in. I know a lot of people go the other way, but to me this gives me a little bit more structure. But Marisol has a pretty good space between her lid and her crease, so she can afford to go thicker in her flat liquid liner. I start skinny and then I build it up. It's easier to go skinny and make it bigger than accidentally make it too wide and then you have to start all over again. So then, when you take off the tape, look up just so it doesn't. There you go, you have that nice little line. I'm gonna go ahead and fill in the outer corner just a little bit more. Connecting the bottom to the top. Now if you were to do the Gwen Stephanie eye, she does a little bit more shimmer. So where I have that off-white in the center, you could go with a silverish white. And I'm making a little bit of a mess on the bottom. I'm not really worried about that because I can always go in and clean it. You'll also notice that I did her eye makeup first, and that's because we have a lot of fall off with the shadow when you're wisping everything around and blending it out. If I did her foundation first, that means I would have to wipe it off and start over, all over again. And that's not fun. So it just makes it easier on myself. Alright, so I'm gonna have you look down to the ground but out. So what this does is it stretches the lid so that way I can go all the way in. If I was doing this to myself at home, I would tilt my head back in the mirror and I'd look at myself. I can do that too. It's a great way to get inside. And if you remember, I mentioned the waterline. We'll lift it up. And we just put the black in there. I think a lot of people are afraid to put black inside their waterline because they think it's going to make their eyes look smaller. But if you do it right, it actually does the reverse. The other direction, please. Perfect. There we go. Straight ahead at everybody else. Smile for the people at home. Look up. She's like, I don't have foundation on. I don't want to smile for the people at home. Alright. And then going all the way inside. And then I'll go back over it with a powder. Just because I feel like the pencil has more precision. So you always want to start with the bottom underneath and do a diagonal upwards. And then we'll go starting on the top, on the outer corner. Pulling it out. I'm going to turn your head slightly this direction so that way everybody can see what I'm doing. Perfect. And we'll turn you this way a little bit. Perfect. And now I'm going into the top. Real nice. We'll go over it with some powder just to soften it up a bit. I like to do like a neutral soft brown just because of her hair. But Marilyn also had some pretty pronounced brows too, so I'm not afraid to carve it out and make them look nice and perfect. Look down at the ground. And after we get the false lash on, you can always go back over this black liquid liner and thicken it up a little bit more. But having that false lash gives a little bit of firmness to where you lay your brush, so that way you have more stability. If that's ever an issue for you. And you want to make sure with your mascara you just wiggle it through the roots, that way you're hitting all of the hairs. Look straight ahead at all our friends at home. The other reason I ever look straight ahead is because if she looks up, the tips of her lashes on the top will hit her lid, and then she'll get black little dots, and those are never fun. Especially when you have that perfect makeup and then you do one of those. So I like to use black glue just because it doesn't show as much as the white. Even though the white dries clear, I feel like you still could see it. Alright, go ahead and look down at the ground. This stretches her lid out. We'll start from the outside. Real simple, real easy, just like that. Bam, look straight. All right, now to complete it, we have to put more mascara. Because Marilyn had those really thick lashes, her sultry, sexy eyes that she was known for. That Marisol has also. All right, so hopefully my hand is not in your way. Some mascara on there. All right. So I'm going to do the second half, and that one will speed through, so that way you guys get the gist, and you can also see the complete product. And then we'll slow down when we do the lip. So yeah, I'm going to go back, after the mascara dries, we're going to go back and we're going to thicken up that line. So let's go on to the other side. Just cross in front of you real fast. Again, going back with a concealer that is a pink undertone to warm up under the eyes, and just stippling it underneath that liner. This is what's going to give you that really polished look under the eye. Look straight ahead. And then going inside just to blend it out. Then another little trick I like to do is some yellow concealer on top of the brow. You guys get close, then you can really see. But before I blend, you can see it just makes it look nice and crisp and clean. And then we just buff it. You can also use your fingers. Just press it into the skin. Alright, let's go to the other side. I'm going to turn it towards me a little bit. Again, stippling the color under the eye. And then taking it right along that black liquid liner so it just looks real clean. I think the cleanliness of the makeup is what makes it look so professional. So if you can master the art of some of these skills, no one will know that you did it yourself and that you didn't have it professionally done. Or you can just say you're professional. That works too. Alright. Again, going along the top of her brow, really defining it. Alright, now let's start the fun part, contouring, because everybody always wants to know how to contour the skin. I like to start with the darkest shade first. I have a nice little color palette for you guys, and I'm going to use an angled brush, because that way it helps me carve out the cheeks. I'm going to have you guys get real close, so that way you can see everything that I'm doing in the cheek. So to find the part where you contour, you feel with your pinky. It's usually in alignment with your ear, and there's a socket in here. That's where you want your darkest shade to go. So you're just going to stipple it again, placing the color exactly where you want it and going in a downward angle. Like I mentioned before, anything dark is going to push back, so that's what gives that defined cheekbone, and anything light is going to pull forward, so that's why you put a lighter color on that top part of the orbital bone. Alright, so this is kind of like my medium color. It's got a little bit of a gray undertone to it. We don't want to do, you can do bronzer, but bronzer does tend to be a little bit more orangey, and right now I'm creating shadows, so that's why I'm using something that has a little bit of gray in it. And it's not going to make her look sallow because we'll warm it up with some blush. Alright. So now that I've got it decently dark, I'm going to turn you just a little bit, we're going to angle you a little bit more there so that way everybody can really see where we're going with that. Now I'm going to take a super dark color, one that you probably wouldn't think to use. We're just going to do it right in this socket. Going in circles to blend it. And that will give me a nice shadow right in there. Look forward at everybody. So you can just see it doesn't look too crazy. And then we'll go with a lighter shade up top. Going with it's almost a white color. Just gonna press it right on that orbital bone. And the contrast is what's gonna give you that nice contour. So I got that white color, and to warm it up a bit, I'm gonna use now a yellow color in between. So it's almost like a buffing shade, like it buffs the two together so it's not really sharp contrast. That sharp contrast is great if you're doing anything for theater, on stage, but just in everyday life and you don't want it to be too much. You want to make it a nice soft contrast. Okay, so turn with the bend. Now we'll add just a pinch of color in the apple of the cheek so that way she doesn't look washed out. We want to make her a little bit flush. So I'm doing a pink. Again, right in that apple of her cheek. And going in circles. It should be partially on the dark contour and partially on the light contour. I always like to take a step back, look at my work. Always looks different from a distance. There we go. Now if we want to contour the rest of her face, we can do that. And the way we would do that is take that light shade and you put it under the dark contour. That is going to accentuate the darkness. because again, we're going for contrast. So right under that jawbone, we'll do a little bit of contour on the center of her nose. If you wanted to thin out the nose, you could do the dark contour on either side. Marisol already has a really nice shape to her nose, so we don't really need to do that. So I'm doing the light color to the center, and then also all the way down the center here too as well. Now we'll go back with our dark contour and we'll carve out her jawline, so that way that is nice and structured. Taking my dark color again and going from the ear, because you want to go all the way back, and going underneath. Just going back and forth. This you also want to make sure you're blending in really nice too. You don't want a harsh line. It makes it really obvious that you're contouring. Or do a little bit here and on the top of the forehead as well. So you can already see a little bit of a difference if you were to look at the different sides of her face. We'll go ahead and do the other side real fast. Again, my name is Alikona. Tune in every Thursday at 8 p.m. There's always going to be a new video out for you. And again, you can follow me on Twitter at KissMyPassport or on Tumblr or Facebook at Alikona Bradford. And please feel free to message me any suggestions, or if you have a request, I'll be more than happy to comply. So thank you very much, and I will see you guys next time.